look. I think I look pretty good. There we go. Everything is looking good. Let's put this up a little higher for these people. You know, gotta talk to these people. You know, see what's going on. Let me see what's going on a little bit. People that are coming, they're coming, you know. Guys, you gotta let me know if you guys can hear me, all right? Because, you know, you guys gotta let me know. You know, that's all I got to say. Let me see. Show is good. Let me see that. This one right there. Got a sore throat, you know. Thank you for having me back. Thank you. It's an honor to be back, you know, with you guys. It's an honor, you know. It's an honor. You know, to have you people here with me live in this live stream, it's unbelievable. You know, it's unbelievable. You're not gonna believe what Sweet Kid Kino has prepared today. He's wiping the floor with every Muppet boiler room out there, and I told him that he needed to control himself. You know, I said you need to control yourself, and you cannot get that crazy. You know, but Sweet Kid Kino is mopping the floor with the watch Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market. I'm just letting you guys know, you know, just, you know, no te vayas a meter, Kino, no te vayas a meter. No te vayas a meter, que esto no es problema tuyo, yo sé lo que te estoy hablando. Este show es tuyo, pero yo también tengo un poquito de poder. You know, I'm telling you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is unbelievable, the show we have today prepared for you guys. You know, you're not going to believe this. My cameraman, my corner cameraman is telling me to, you know, and then this one over here is showing me cardboards, you know, what I should say. I say whatever I want, you know, I say whatever I want. Mr. Blair, Mr. Ed Blair está aquí. Mr. Blair is here too, you know. You know, vamos a poner un poquito de música de Navidad esta gente aquí, you know, a little bit of, you know, of the spirit, you know. My wife got me this, you know. I don't like that one. You understand? It's for you guys. I want you guys to be festive, you know. Esta que te gusta. You understand? Everyone, happy holidays to all of you, no matter what happens. No matter if you at one time were a recovering tomato can or you were a tomato can. It doesn't matter. You're no longer a tomato can. I got one more here. One more. It's beautiful music, guys. It's for you guys, you know. I'm in the spirit, you know. If, you know, happy Hanukkah, all that good stuff. Yo estoy en todo eso. The Three Kings, los Reyes Magos, you know. You don't know about that kind of stuff, you know. Put it here, you know, next to me. Unbelievable. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the world's #1 public service watch announcement channel, ladies and gentlemen. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are proud to be back because we only try to bring you the truth and nothing but the truth in this channel. Don't forget, if you guys don't like public service watch announcement channel, then you don't need to be here. Because what we give here is just public service watch announcements, you know? Feliz Navidad a todos ustedes, you know? Feliz Navidad, Happy Hanukkah, Feliz Tres Reyes Magos, you know? You know, I don't know. Dime algo más, Kino, de Cuba. Oh my God. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Thank you for having me back. Thank you so much. All of you, thank you for having me back. Thank you. You know, so balababing, you know, all that good stuff. You know, estamos aquí. Esta es number one watch market update show in the world. We've been chosen by no other than Sachs Goldman. You know who Sachs Goldman is? We've been chosen number one for saying the truth. We've been, you know, they tried to lock us up, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta be honest, ladies and gentlemen. You know, for you guys being so persistent and holding on to a channel that basically, you know, I gotta say it this way so they can, you know, respect me, you know. It was on the downfall, you know, with over 8,000 organic watch channel subscribers. They had us like in the Price is Right, you know, with the curtains closed, you know, the Price is Right. Or let's make a deal with Monty Hall, you know, Monty Hall. But ladies and gentlemen, you guys made it happen. They have had to open the curtains again on us. And ladies and gentlemen, this is beautiful to say. And you might say, well, Juan, don't say it. No. Since I started saying it is when it happened. We have gotten over 100 new watch channel subscribers because you guys did it. You guys stuck around. You know, you guys showed that you like this channel. No te meta, Kino. No te meta. Kino was trying to get involved, you know. No te puedes meter porque yo fui que hice el cambio. I'm going to take all credit on this. I was the one that decided to open my mouth and said they have us on, you know, lockdown. They have us on shutdown. And since I did that, they said open it up. The guy está loco. They said the guy is crazy, so forget it. He's crazy right. That's what they were saying, you know. You know, since I said it, they said the guy is crazy right. You know? So since I did that, they opened it. And ladies and gentlemen, I have only been saying they have us on lockdown publicly in the air. Like Walter Cronkite, you know? A guy, you know? Over 2 weeks. In a matter of 2 weeks, 100 organic watch channel subscribers. Poof! Like that. Unbelievable but true. Just to let you know that you guys made the difference. You guys make the difference. You know, the thunder lightning on the TV antenna stopped. You know, the 5 second, 10-second delay stopped. I gotta tell you all this because you guys did it. Quiero un aplauso para ello. No. I'm telling you, you guys did it. You guys did it. And ladies and gentlemen, everything that I have said is allegedly, you know? Allegedly. Saluting them so they don't get mad because they opened it. Since I started saluting them, you know, and giving them the sign, they opened the floods. Just to let you know what's going on, right? You guys are part of this. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Blair. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Blair. Please help me out. You're part of the show. You're part of the show. But ladies and gentlemen, it's incredible. Even, you know what it is, ladies and gentlemen, that we have been right now live in the air for 9 minutes, you know? No, like 7 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, we have, you know, people watching our channel, you know, live because they're letting it go, you know, let people know about this guy. He's crazy. He's crazy right. Anyway, guys, I want to start by telling you that we have a great show today, all right? Kino has prepared an unbelievable show, and let's just dive right into it. We're going to dive into precious metals. We are live. Yes, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. People are even asking me if we are live with nice letters, capital letters, L-I-V-E, live. And we are live, papi. You know, I want to talk about precious metals, and I need all of you to pay attention because something big is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't want them to catch you sleeping on the hay in La Paz. I don't want that to happen to you. But ladies and gentlemen, rhodium, rhodium, what they put on these, these rings, those fancy rings at Cartier, it's at $7,950 a troy ounce, just to let you know, Palladium is another one that's unbelievable and is catching fire, catching fire is at $1,502 a troy ounce, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable, but true. Unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, platinum, one of my favorite metals, Platinum is one of my favorite metals. Is that, man, this is, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Watch Addict, for those beautiful words that you have just demonstrated about our channel. And I got to tell you, Mr. Watch Addict, you're not going to believe this. You know what it is? 7 minutes into the show, and we have 25, 26, 27 people, organic people looking at this channel that they never knew that this channel existed. No te meta, Kino, no te meta, no te meta. And it's happening because of you guys, your persistence, your persistence in you guys. So I want to again emphasize, gracias, thank you, gracias, I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, platinum is at listen up, $1,678 a troy ounce. It's unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go straight to gold. I'm going to leave silver for last. Gold, it's going all the way to the moon, all the way to the moon. It's at $4,243. Pero papi, that thing is going to go big. It's going to go real big, Gold is going to go real big. Real big. But silver, ladies and gentlemen, silver, the white stuff. The white stuff, Mr. Blair? Mr. Blair, thank you very much for that super chat. It really means a whole lot to our team, to our, our crew, our cameraman and the left side, our lighting guy, everybody, We want to say thank you very much. It really means a whole lot to us. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Coño, qué lindo, Mr. Blair. Mr. Blair, it's incredible. I want to just say that I talked to you about gold, but now it's silver. The white stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I like sometimes to put my foot in my mouth. I like it. It gives me some kind of, I don't know. I get happy, when I get involved in this. But I believe silver, ladies and gentlemen. Little jungle juice to relax my body, Ginseng, ladies and gentlemen, I was telling somebody when I was on vacation, he told me, listen to me. He told me a number, and I said, that number is like a piece of cake. He told me a number, and I said, come on, you mean $65? $65 is around the corner. Like around the corner, Maybe Monday morning when you wake up. Maybe Monday morning when you wake up is at 65. But we are going to go so far to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't see, we don't see gold. We don't see silver, the white stuff, having a problem of hitting. I think it's like, 18 days to Christmas, right? We don't see a problem, this thing between me and Sweet Kino, Kino to me, Joaquin to you. We don't see a problem silver hitting the magic number of $100 a troy ounce, $100. So I'm letting you know how I feel, You can make fun of me and Sweet Kino when it doesn't make it to $100, but this is what we believe because the situation around the world is upside down, okay? Just to let you know what's going on, right, guys? I told you guys already that you need to stop, you need to control the anxiety that you have, that you're tempted to give away your watches on consignment. You must stop doing that. You just cannot. You guys don't have an idea how bad the watch business is and how desperate these flim-flammers, these hucksters, these hoodwinkers are in. You understand me? These people are in a bad position. You know, never consign your watches with nobody. Never. Not even to Sweet Kick Kino. Not even to Sweet Kick Kino. You do not consign your watches. There's people out there that are desperate. You know, these people want to continue living off your dime and your children's tuition money and your children's dental, dental insurance, bracelets, all that good stuff, teeth whitening, all that stuff. You cannot continue giving your watches away. These people are desperate. I always make fun of people in a sweet way. I don't mean it in a harmful way. It's that sometimes it just fits their, the description, All right, man, I'm a little bit under the weather, guys, but sometimes it fits the, the description, and they're desperate, I say it funny for you guys so you guys can be happy, and enjoy this show, But please, with all due respect, stop giving away your watches to these cockroaches. These people are cockroaches. These people are in an infection in an ingrown toenail. Ingrown toenail? If I said it wrong, please excuse me that I said it wrong. In the ingrown toenail in the corner, the nail goes deep and then it becomes, an infection and it has like yellow-green pus. This is who these people are. And in this channel, we're going to show you how not to give your watch away. A 28-year-old punk, over there from the, KU, over there, Manchester City. He took over there over 27 elderly. They were 50, but they say Kino found out that in that batch of 50 people, 27 were elderly, like me, elder person, And they took all their watches and he took them for $1.5 million. They apprehended him, they got him, they roughed him up a little bit in the floor, they put their foot, where, right? They put their foot down there and you did that to that little old man, you took his watch for, that amount of money. And I'm preventing this from you guys. The same way that you guys, made it happen for them to open the gates of this channel, I must do my part and protect you guys from getting this deep, from getting this deep. This is a perk deep. So please stop giving your watches on consignment. Okay. I'm going to go to my next topic, ladies and gentlemen. I was in vacation, ladies and gentlemen. I was in vacation, and I spoke to a couple of people that I know around there that in the watch industry. They told me to keep, names out of the story and all that good stuff. Pero papi, the situation is so bad that I'm going to go back to something else that I forgot to tell you guys. You know that I always make cute, funny names on these people, on all these Muppet boiler room secondary grade watch market dealers, And everybody else copies my, I got catchphrases, so they all copy me, Muppets, you know what I'm saying? Tomato can, sandbag, crumb bum, window licker, crayon eater, all that good stuff. And that's fine because I'm the original one. We don't care. It doesn't bother us. Go ahead. Say whatever you want, It's like Pablo Picasso will say, I'm the painter, but without my signature don't mean nothing. I'm the same way too. I'm the one. That's all. But ladies and gentlemen, I have told you, ladies and gentlemen, that there is a little group, a little gang over there in the Lone Star State that I talk about, Big Pun and Heavy D. You know, Big Pun and Heavy D. You know, those two young brothers, the twin brothers, you know, they're twin brothers, always dressed in black. They're a little bit overweight, you know. I'm trying to describe them to you guys in a sweet way, you know, a little overweight. They're always wearing black, you know, black jeans and t-shirts, you know. You know exactly, Thurston Howard. You know what I'm trying to say. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand what happens when you do stupidities. So these people have not made no more live shows, no more content because, Poppy, there's no more lollipop suckers. Let's be honest, because there's no more SBA loans, no more PPP loans, government grants, stimulus checks. You know, the whole shalom, right? But every once in a while, one of you will fall. One of you will fall. You know, Paco Gambino told me that always. Paco told me, don't worry about it once. Sit back, somebody will fall. Sit back and somebody will fall, you know? Thank you for that information. Thank you so much for that information on silver. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe those two gentlemen, Big Pun Heavy D out of the Lone Star State. A gentleman wanted to buy a watch from them, and they were looking at a beautiful, you know, this rare, you know, a one of 200, you know, one of 200 pieces. Listen and learn, ladies and gentlemen, you know, rare watch, you know, an AP, Adamas Piquet, the Qatar. If any of you ever heard of the Qatar edition, it's an unbelievable watch. It's a great watch to have, and very pricey and all that, right? So you call Big Pun and Heavy D and you tell them that you like that watch and you want to buy it from them. Papi, I'm telling you, this is what they're doing to you people out there. They're finishing you guys off because you guys son lambones, son palomos, lambones y palomos. Thurston, hear me out. Mr. Blair, hear me out. Mr. Donor, hear me out. You need to be on your toes, you know, with your fellow recovering tomato cans, you know, organic Wash Channel subscribers, and help them out. Let them understand. You know, you cannot continue being window lickers and lollipop suckers, you know. You cannot. And they call that guy over there Big Pun and Heavy D. And the guy said to him, I would like to buy that watch from you, you know, that Qatar, one of 200 pieces, Qatar edition, AP. And they came in an agreement. This guy hasn't made a content in a year and a half already, you know? Those two heavy guys, you know, they're always riding Ducati motorcycles, you know, so driving Bentleys. You guys don't believe me? You guys don't believe me? Ask any of your tomato can recovering organic Wash Channel subscribers. They'll tell you. Rolls Royce, you know, one guy's sitting in the front driving them and the two heavy set guys in the back. Unbelievable. All over the place. And the guy says, don't worry about it. We can make a deal. And he tells the yo-yo, you know, that wants to buy the AP of one of 200, you know, Qatar edition, to send me the watch you have so we can evaluate it and you can pay me the difference and all that good stuff. And the guy goes like a dodo bird, you know, a dodo bird. And he sends him the watch that he has, his watch. Sends him the whole full set of his watch, paperwork, you know, certificate card, guarantee card, whatever you want to call it, Bobby, okay? I'm trying to give you the story. I'm trying to give it to you as best as I can so you know how the ending ends. So you know how it ends, you know? And he sends the whole thing to these people that have not been around no more because Sweet Kikino has finished them off. Finished them off, you know? So the guy sends the watch, and Big Pun and Heavy D look at it, and they told the poor soul so much, wire me so much, you know. I tell all you guys always this. I tell you guys this always. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Watch Addict. You know, Watch Addict knows. I tell you, if you're going to wire, and if you've been in this channel, please show me what I tell you how to wire. If you're going to wire money, you wire this way, right? Which way is that, guys? Come on. Show the people there. Write it down. Show them how. Show them how you're going to wire money to these people. If you're going to wire, how do you wire? Nobody knows. This is sad. This is sad, but no te meta aquí, no. No te meta. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's how you wire. That's how you wire, right? But Mr. Dodo Bird doesn't wire that way. Me been saying it all over the place, how you wire. You know? So the guy sends him the watch and sends him the wire. And the two heavy set gentlemen from the Lone Star State, Big Pun and Heavy D, they send him the watch. The 1 of 200 AP Qatar edition. Without no box, no paperwork, no guarantee, no nothing, ladies and gentlemen. No nothing, ladies and gentlemen. Hear me out so you can pass the ball around. I'm helping that gentleman without him even knowing it. You know, I'm helping him without even him knowing what I'm doing for him right now. He got the box, and when he opened it up, it was one of those Mickey Mouse boxes, just a watch. That's it. He got that. He was lucky he got that. But the guy, he freaks out. He's, what happened? I'm buying a 1 of 200 piece AP Qatar. And he calls him up. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Donor. Please help me out. And he calls the guy, you know, those two heavy set gentlemen, you know? You know, we don't say bad things here, you know? Heavy set. Is heavy set a bad thing that I'm saying? Because if it is, I need you guys to correct me so I can use the right terminology. So those two, they call the two heavy set guys, and they don't answer the phone. They ghost, you know? They ghost. They ghost them. You know, the guy's calling and they don't answer the phone, and they don't answer the phone, and they don't answer the phone. They ghost them, you know? So finally, so you understand how this works. When I tell you always do not buy a watch that's naked. If you buy a watch that's naked, papi, you know, it's like trying to buy a Ferrari. Try to buy a Ferrari without their paperwork. Try to buy that. See what it's worth. See what it's worth. Try to buy a Ferrari. I'm going to make it simple. Try to buy an Enzo Ferrari. You know, it costs $3 million. Buy it with no paperwork. See how much it costs. That's what a watch costs. Right? So the guy finally, he was able to track him down. I don't know how he did it. And he got one of the heavy set ones, you know? Because, you know, the twin brothers, one is a little bit more aggressive and a little smarter, you know, streetwise, and the other one is more, you know, a sweetheart, you know, we can say the way sweetheart. And he got to talk to him, and he said, hey, listen to this so you understand. They played the ghost trick for a while, you know, until a couple of weeks went by, and then they pick up the phone. Hey, what's happening, Tommy? Hey, what's happening, you, Big Pun? I've been trying to call you. No, I've been over there. I went to Dubai. I went over there to this show, you know, the sketch, you know, the sketch. And he says, no, I'm calling you because the watch you sent me, papi, you sent me a naked watch. This is junk. No, what do you mean? No paperwork, no nothing. That wasn't the condition. We talked about that you wouldn't give me everything. To make the story quicker, the gentleman tells him, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm going to send you back my watch, you know, the watch, the AP, the Qatar, and you send me back my watch, and nothing happened, you know? And you know what Big Pun and Heavy D told him? Do you know what Big Pun and Heavy D told that poor soul? Does anybody know what what they told, you know, that poor soul. Does anybody know? No, right? It's Mikey, coño, Mikey. Mikey está claro. Mikey, un hombre claro, muchacho, un hombre claro. Mikey sabe, Kino, no son pendejos. That Big Pun and Heavy D told them, we sold the watch. We sold your watch. Deep. You know, deep. We sold your watch. So what I'm trying to tell you is, Papi, these people are desperate. They don't have no more money. And they do whatever they have to do. Like there are two other brothers, you know, they have partners too. There's these other guys, the two Jehovah Witness brothers. You know, the two Jehovah Witness brothers, they're always saying that their business is thriving. You know what I'm talking about? You know, you got the two Latin brothers, they're overweight, and then you got the two American brothers, you know, which are, you know, Jehovah Witness brothers, and always claiming that their watch business is thriving. You know, those two guys, Jehovah Witness brothers, you know? Those people haven't done a show in forever, you know? And I gotta tell you this because, you know, we say things they are. Allegedly. So me copiones, papi, you know? If you guys don't know, you know, Mr. Blair, maybe you should write down the story of the, you know, of the turtle and the scorpion, you know? So they understand how this works, you know? So they understand, you know? All slippery characters, Papi. You know what? Mr. Watch Addict is saying something that I must continue that on. I want you to know this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to tell you that every watch dealer is a snake in the grass. But I got to be honest with you, man. I've been around a lot of them, Papi, and they're cockroaches. You know, they're cockroaches. So I'm going to have to just say, not everyone is a cockroach, but coño, hay un cojón por ahí que son unas cucarachas malas, mano. Son malos, son, you know, I say it in Spanish so people don't understand. You know? They're bad people, you know? It's bad people, you know? It's bad people. Should I tell you guys the story of the turtle and the scorpion, or, you know, or you guys know it already? Because if you guys know it, then, you know, no need for me to say it. But those two Jehovah Witnesses haven't made a video in the longest. In the last video that they made, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. They were saying, if you buy a watch from me, Papi, these people they were nuts. When you listen to me, desperate times makes desperate measures. You know, takes desperate, I don't know how to say, you know what I'm trying to say. Desperate times gets you to do desperate measures, something to that, right? You buy a watch from me, the two Jehovah Witness brothers say, you buy a watch from me, we give you this brand new Rolex, you know, I don't know, one of those beautiful pens. You know, people were asking, how do they, you know, I have many ADs that I know. I've been trying to get a pen from Rolex forever. I never got one, but these guys had like around 1,000 of them, you know? And they were, you know, giving desperate times calls for desperate measures. There you go. And they were giving pens away, and Kino got mad, and he went in the air, and, you know, he called them out, and Papi, I think that was one of the last videos they made, and you got to thank Sweet Kick Kino for that, you know? I mean, Kino's the brains, I'm the voice, but, you know, you got to give him credit for that. And that's how they stopped that. But those two Jehovah Witness brothers always saying the business is thriving. You be careful with them. You also be careful with Big Pun and Heavy D. You know, these guys eat a lot of Alpo. You know, Alpo dog food. This is what those people eat. Alpo dog food, you know? You know what I'm trying to say. Thank you very much, Mr. Watch Addict, for those kind words again. Unbelievable, this gentleman. Está diciendo que tú eres una persona increíble, que tú hablas la verdad. Más nada. ¿Qué te puedo decir, Kino? Somos número uno. So that's what's going on. All right, guys? I have so much to talk about today that I have to, you know, move on. Ladies and gentlemen, you also have, you know who Bob Barker is? Bob Barker, you know, from Let's Make a Deal, or, you know, or The Price is Right, you know? You know, you have these people, they're characters, they're beautiful people, and they, And, you know, they're good. You know, the hosts of the show. You know, they're good. And I don't want to leave this person off the hook. You know, I want to continue on bombarding today. You know, but ladies and gentlemen, the situation is so bad for that company out of the warehouse of My Pillow. You know, the warehouse My Pillow. You know, they got the warehouse. They have a place over there that used to be a warehouse for pillows, and now they sell watches there. You know, you still don't know who I'm talking about? Okay, when you stay there, you're gonna know. And I'm kind of, you know, it's incredible of everything that we have been saying here for the longest, that the watch market is broken, the watch market is dead, the watch market is floating in a backyard septic tank and smelly, you know, and the watch market is dead in a backyard pool and floating face down like this, you know. We told you all that. But ladies and gentlemen, this guy, this Meshuggah, you know, this you know, Cretan, you know, this Cretan, you know, from over there, from the My Pillow warehouse, you know, I'm talking about no other than Deputy Butthole Eyes with the Tweety Bird haircut, you know, and his sidekick Jiminy Cricket with the Chia Pet spray can hair with the baseball cap hair, you know, the baseball cap hair. That guy, those two people who fleeced and flim-flam many people out there, you know, until Sweet Kid Kino came around and he stopped the bleeding. He stopped it completely, ladies and gentlemen. He's become now, ladies and gentlemen, is incredible. Now, what he's doing now is he's promoting, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, he's promoting independent watch brands. That's the content that he's making now. He's going around, you know, to this, that channel, watch channel, watch this, that, you know. Let me give you a little bit of insight of like where's he going. He's going like into, you know, promoting, you know, he's getting a little greased up because, you know, paying that My Pillow warehouse is not that easy. You know, you got to be making some kind of cash, you know. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Blair. So now he's like a host. He's like a Monty Hall. You know Monty Hall? Howard Cosell, you know, what's the guy that did exercise? He had like a little afro, you know. I think he passed away, you know, I don't know, some months ago, you know. Like those people, you know. Simmons, Richard Simmons, you know, like Richard Simmons. Well, Deputy Boxing Black Eyes is now getting greased up by all these independent watch brands, you know, going one by one and talking to them about the watches and what kind of movement they have and, you know, all that good stuff, you know. It's unbelievable, but it's true because la situación está jodida. There's no more suckers out there. You guys ain't suckers no more. You guys ain't giving up your money no more. Listen to me. Even those people that make shows, you know, like the guy with the olive oil voice, you know, that he has like a million subscribers. He can't say no more that the watch market is up and running. You know, he can, the other guy too, the Trooper, you know, Trooper G.I. Joe with the fatigue jacket, you know, I think he has a shaved head with glasses on and also has a, you know, one of those voices, you know, they're unbelievable, you know, MK Ultra voices. He's saying that the watch market is dead. And then you got the other guy too, the guy from Japan, you know, he knows about numbers. He's bad. So ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know, and you know, listen to me. Working is working and you have to give credit to working, you know? You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Watch Addict. Independent, papi. These became chulos. You know what chulo is? Do you know what a chulo is? I'm going to tell you what a chulo is. A chulo is a pimp. And that's what Deputy Boxing Black Eyes and his sidekick Jiminy Cricket with the Chia Pet spray can hair with the baseball haircut are chulos. You know? So uno chulo, papa. You know? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So uno chulo, papa. You see, when I go on vacation, I go on vacation on my dime. I don't go on vacation on your dime, on your children's dime, on your dogs, you know, doctor's money, you know, for your doggy, you know. I don't know how you call that, you know, but I know they're pretty expensive, you know. We don't do that, you know. We vouch ourselves, you know. Nosotros no cogemos la gente de bobo, you know. And those people, they don't have no more other choice than to start licking, window lickers. They have become window lickers now. They're making interviews on all these independent watchmakers, and they're all getting a little grease, because they think to themselves, this guy with the butthole eyes, maybe he can give us a little bit name out there in his channel, He's trying to be like the other guy, Toupee Wigman, Toupee Wigman, 80 years old, always hanging around with the company Jacob and the Iron Sheik, with the tunic, you know what I'm trying to say, guys. Guys, listen to me. You're watching the #1 watch market update show in the world, papi. There's only truth in this channel. There's only truth, only truth. Pero I told you that so you know where the watch business is going on. Listen to me. You people who are fans, and it's all right. We were all fans at one moment. We were all fans. Kino was a fan, I was a fan, and many of you were a fan of Deputy Boxing Black Eyes. Pero papi, there's no more content, man. There's no more content. There's no more lollipop suckers, There's no more window lickers. There's no more crayon eaters. There's no more possum kickers, There's no more cow tippers. And there's no more sandbags out there no more, Listen to me, papi. What I'm dropping on you guys is the truth, papa. They had a way with you guys because there wasn't a channel like this one. There wasn't a channel like this one. Don't ever forget that. I put the final stitches on the watch industry. I said it wrong. Sweet Kick Kino did. Sweet Kick Kino did. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say, right? Okay. I'm going to go into something else that you guys need to know because we have like 18 days left. Eso es así. That's correct, Mr. Blair. 18 days to Christmas, I believe. And it's something that you need to know. I have always been telling you guys that some way, somehow, not 10 years ago, not 20 years ago, not 30 years ago, not 50 years ago. China has always been around producing watches, replicas from other watchmakers. In particular, the #1 watch they imitate to the T. You guys know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. Just go to Chinatown. You'll see them there. It's Rolex. And ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you this today because you guys are entering in the most powerful month of the year where everybody becomes a sucker. Even I become a sucker. I'm a grandfather of 3 boys and I'm a sucker to those 3 boys. Whatever they ask me, I run to the hills to get it for them. I'm being honest. And so do you guys. And you guys got to be very, very careful. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a big, big scam going on right now. And I'm going to tell you about the scam. I'm going to tell you about this scam because you need to know it. And ladies and gentlemen, this is even a higher scam that you're going to go, oh my. And it's been going on for a while, but now is when they're really, they really are blowing it up. There are 2 companies. There are 2 companies in over there in Xinjiang. Help me out, guys, so I don't make a mistake and they throw me a thunder lightning. Help me out. When you see me that I'm talking too much, tell me, watch it, okay? Watch it, okay? Beautiful. Because you guys are on my team. Hey, Thursday, como te quiero mucho, te llevo en el corazón. So it's different. It's a different game. They have 2 factories over there in Xinjiang that I'm gonna say the names of these factories. They are supposed to be the best. Even people that I know that are professional watch movement creators and all that stuff, they're the best from over there. The number one, exactly from right there. The number one from over there, if you guys don't know this, you're going to know it today. I'm going to promote it by mistake, but it's for you guys to understand. No, I'm not. I'm not really promoting. You put the letters around. This factory is called the SV. S as in Sam, V as in Victor. Okay? All right? SV. Play with the letters, all right? Play with the letters. The other one is called the Sleen factory. Okay? Sleen. Play with the missing letter. I can't say it, right? Those two factories, Papi, they're the beast. Those two factories are the beast. And what's going on is with these factories, these scammers are getting in touch with these people because, Papa, you put. I got to see one this past week. I same way, everything. It was done, same markings, perfect. They'll sell you a watch from one of those two factories for $750, $800, $600, but it's the best, right? And these people buy that from them. What are the most famous 4 Rolex watches that all of you would like to have? Okay, I'll tell you. You would like to have a Rolex Daytona stainless steel, black or white dial. You would like to have a Rolex GMT Pepsi with a Jubilee bracelet. That's 2. You would like to have a Rolex GMT Bruce Wayne, right? Because some of those watches, it costs like $11,000 and they're asking $20,000. Daytona costs you $16,000, $14,000 and they're selling it for $26,000, $25,000. You know what I'm trying to say, right? So these scammers have become, they have become unbelievable. And you say, but Juan, what are you saying? Hold on, man. So what happens is they get that casing from over there from Xinjiang. They get the casing, they get the bracelet, and then they take out the movement, they take out the crystal, they take out the dial, and now they go and they buy a crystal, a real authentic Rolex crystal with the markers, laser markers. They go and buy a dial, a real dial. Which dial? Okay, let's call it a GMT Pepsi dial, black dial. They get the bezel too, They get that too. And now they start playing with the movement of the watch. They start playing with the movement of the watch. Papi, it's incredible. I said it wrong. I'm missing something else. They get the correct hand stack. They get the correct hand stack. Oh, hey, listen to this. You know what? We might call it a Frankenstein, and that's perfect because I just finished telling you already, bezel, original dial, crystal, the white stack hands, right? If you take those 4 things right there, those are the most important things that all of us look at. We look at the dial, we look at the crystal, we look at the dial. We just with MK Ultra looking at the dial, at the hand stack. Before, over there in Xinjiang, the hand stack, they would even do it the wrong way. They corrected it and they made it the perfect way. Boom, they put the hand stack. There's a movement that you guys don't know because this is how good they're getting. When you buy a real Rolex GMT Pepsi, it has a 70-hour power reserve, right? It has this movement. I'll say it this way. I'll say it this way. This movement has a 70-hour power reserve, right? The one that was coming from Qingjing only had a 40. So to make it look even more authentic, they started using this movement, which those people from Qingjing are doing and using, and it's the same movement as the one that the GMT has. In other words, you can put pieces, real authentic pieces, on that movement, and it will stick like Elmer's glue. It will stick, like a bridge. The bridge. You know what I'm trying to say. The bridge, the rotor, whatever you want to put, a screw, it'll work. The balance bridge. You follow me? So they start putting all this. So you saw the investment that the scammer is doing. Listen and learn so you can tell Joey tomorrow morning in coffee. So they put the dial, $1,500. They got the hand stack, $450. The date wheel, $150. ¿Qué más? A ver. Just buy whatever you want to buy, They stop buying different pieces. So now that scammer has a watch, Papi, that if you don't believe me, it became like I would say, a good 70% real Rolex. Okay? Do you agree with me? Crystal, dial, you know what I'm saying? All that good stuff. Balance, this, that, and the movement. And the first thing that we do as the consumer, we look at the dial. We look at the crystal to look at the edges, the way it makes the Rolex, on that. We look at that. And we see that, boom, this watch is for real. You look at the dial, it's crispy. It's for real. Of course it is. You bought it for $1,500. So let's say that you spend it on that watch to make it look unbelievable. I'm going to just be safe and say, I say $3,500, right? Right? It costs you $35. You bought the watch, remember you bought the watch from Qingjing, and then you took when you steal cars, when you break cars, chop, is it called chop? Exactly. They're Papi's, and you're gonna ask me, so how do you know? I'm gonna tell you in about a second when I finish the story. So now what happens is the scammer calls one dealer. He calls a dealer. The scammer knows that what he has, not even the dealer is gonna say it's not. He's gonna give it to him with everything, and he's gonna give him a price that is gonna be very tempting to the dealer. So he sells the watch to the Muppet Boiler Room dealer. He can't notice it. He looks at it. He loops it. You loop the dial, it's for real. You loop the crystals, for real. You loop the date wheel, it's for real. And if you open the back, it's some of them won't even do it. Those people are, Papi, I'm telling you, man, I'm giving you something today for Christmas for free. And what do I get? I get this. This is what I get. I give it to you for free, and this is what I get. So he calls the Mashugana, and the Mashugana gets the phone. I got this piece for you. You got it? Yeah. Send me, yeah, okay, I got it for you. I need to get rid of it. I'm sending it. The watch dealer doesn't even notice nothing, and then you come in, the consumer comes in, and they put a price tag on that, man, that you say, Coño, I'm dying for a GMT Rolex Pepsi. You ready for this, boys and girls? GMT Rolex Pepsi with a Jubilee bracelet, red and blue bezel. Man, oh man, do I want this for Christmas. And your poor wife has been working for the longest in the attorney's office, working, snowing, cold days, and she's looking in all the different places because she wants to surprise you. She wants to surprise you. And remember that watch cost that guy, the scammer, how much? I said $3,500. $3,500. He gives it to the other Meshuggah, which is the dealer. You know, the middleman gives him a price of $16,000. You know, he's gonna, man, he is jumping up. He's already paying the scammer. I'm paying you already. I'm sending you the wire. Bam, boom, bam. Now, the middleman sells the watch to the lady, to the little old lady secretary, you know, that works in the law office. And she sells it to her. And she's dying for one, but they're asking 21, 22, 23, you know, 25. And she buys it. And she bites on 18.5. 18.5, she bites it. She bites for that watch. And she has it ready under the Christmas tree for that beloved husband of ours. Hers, you know? Gives it to her. And the guy wears it for 2 years because it's working like a charm. You understand me? I finished telling you, if you want to know the movement on this watch that it has, you're going to go, man, you're going to say, these motherfroggers are unbelievable. No, papi. The one that's unbelievable is Sweet Kikino. You know, Sweet Kikino. If you want to thank somebody, you got to thank Sweet Kikino. Not me. I'm just the voice. He's the brains. I'm the voice. Wears it for 2 years on his wrist. And one day, you know, for no reason, because you've had it for 2 years and you love your baby watch. You know, authentic Rolex GMT black dial, authentic crystal, authentic balance bridge balance, you know, a date wheel, you know, it has everything, the watch, you know, ceramic bezel, you know. One day, because you got a bug, I'm going to take my watch in for service, you know, like a tune-up. And when he sends the watch for service, Rolex calls back and says, listen to me. What happened? In this watch, we have many parts that are for real, and we have many parts. I want you guys to listen to me for real, because I have friends that have authorized dealers. And they tell them, yeah, your watch. And so what's fake? No. The dial is good. The crystal is good. The bezel is good. Some parts of the movement are good. We're still looking at the bracelet. And if all this comes back, no sean lambones, no sean gilipollas. And if this all comes back, you have to pay everything that needs to be done on this watch. Do you understand me? Does anybody understand me? Mr. Blair, please help me out. Mr. Donut, Thurston, somebody, Mikey, somebody, Watch Addict, help me out. Somebody, does anybody understand me? You know what they're telling you now? They're telling you that everything that's fake on the watch, you have to replace it. We have to put it for you. It's it's a hostage situation, Teolite. You go, what? What happened? What happened, Mary? Bobby, they said that the watch, what? They saying that the watch, I don't understand. They say that it has parts that's for real, and then parts that are not for real, and the parts that are not for real, I have to pay for them, or the watch stays here. And then they're going to just listen to this so you know more. Because these people are not going to tell you what I'm telling you. I tell you because I'm stupid like that. Because I'm stupid just like that. You know what they tell you? All the parts that are in that watch, you want to challenge me on that? You want to challenge me on that? Every single part that is fake on that watch, you know what they do to it? They destroy it. Destroy it. So you know what Mary's going to get back? Does anybody know what Mary's going to get back? No quieren decirlo, papi. No quieren decirlo. Mary's going to get back a bezel, ceramic bezel, a shell. No, not even a shell. Exactly a few parts. Isn't that sad? That's the story for you guys. And how do we know that? Because I know watch authorized dealers that talk to me says, Juan, you don't have an idea. They don't lose. They come in, they want to service a watch. And what they have, if you look at it, they have a 70% of a watch. If you look at it, you have the most important thing, which is the dial. It's the Picasso, is the dial. Then the second thing is the ceramic bezel, the hand stack, the date wheel, the crystal, the balance bridge, screws here and there, a rota, and the movement that they're using in there is an exact clone to what they use. Papi, she's paying so much money. It's sad, man. Poor Mary, poor Mary. The movement is the 3235. The 3235. Listen to me. The 3235. 70-hour power reserve. Ching Jing. One more time. 3235. 70-hour power reserve. Straight out of Ching Jing. It's the same movement that GMT or Submariner has. So you understand me? You understand me? The same movement, 70 hours. And then you dress it up just enough. Now, this is the scariest part. The Rolex authorized dealers that are getting these watches in are getting so bad that they can't tell because they're looking at the dial, the ceramic bezel, the crystal, the balance bridge, date, wheel, all that good stuff, and it looks perfect to them. So they're not even doing their job. The one, when you buy one of those luxury watches, they have one of those guys there, in store. It's real. Here, take it. It's real. So you guys have to be very, very careful this Santa Claus month. Because like somebody said, Papi, they are out there. They are out there. And I'm telling you, they're doing a chop to a real replica Rolex watch, and then they're dressing it up again. I mean, I'll tell you this much. I'll tell you this much if this makes you guys feel better. And the person who was telling me says, Nieve, it calls me Nieves. Listen, you practically have a Rolex on your hand. Nobody will question you. The only moment there's going to be a hiccup is when that watch goes over there, over there to those, snowy mountains, where those old men sit down over there, over there, Geneva, where 66,000 work over there, That's when they open it up, Bobby, they're telling you, right, they're telling you in anything that this watch has. Somebody said she got back the shell. No. The shell was too much. What she got back was the dial, which was for real, the bezel, which was for real, the crystal was for real, the date wheel was for real, the balance bridge was for real. I don't know what else I told you, right? That's what you're getting back. They destroyed. Do you know that, or you guys didn't know that? Did you know that they destroyed that? No? Yes? Papi, today, those people today, and within the Diamond District, and over there in 47th, the guy with the fake teeth, with the horse teeth. Thank you, Mike. They destroy it. You think that they're going to keep something like that in their watches? Get that out of my watch. Get it out. And what they do is they go, oh my God. They're doing this movement, this exactly to this movement. Papi, listen to me, man. What they have over there, in China, they have so many engineers that it's unbelievable. They have so many engineers, they can do whatever they want. So this movement that I'm talking about, that movement, don't think that you're going to be getting that movement in any of the replica watches you're getting. No, 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 no. You're going to have to pay top dollar for that movement. No, but I want the 3235 with a 70-hour power reserve. Bobby, you know what 70-hour power reserve is? You're talking about a hell of a movement. You're talking about a movement that's, movimiento. 70-hour power reserve. And they're telling me, Papi, this thing works excellent. Joseph, come here, Joseph. Tell Mr. Nieves. I said, what? I'm going to tell you one more. The Daytona has a movement, which is the 4130. 4130. Let me make sure because I can make mistakes. The 4130. These people even have the 4130. The dang. They call it the dang. Dang, okay? For free, you're getting oils for free. Stuff. Alibaba, 159. You see, we know somebody that's here, that's hearing everything. And look what he put down. Smart man. So you want that movement? No. It's an extra perk. It's an extra. You don't get that movement. So now you have the 4130, the dang. Then before it was too thick and you couldn't put it in a Rolex. So they have to make the Rolex Daytona fat. So me and you can tell, hey, it's too fat. That's a fake one. It doesn't sit comfortable. So those people in I told you guys, there is a building in Qingjing. I think the color is yellow. And it is the most powerful watch building over there. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Look into it, you're going to go, coño, he said it too. It's a yellow building. And the best. You're right. I need some eggnog. Thank you, Thurston. They have it there. And I have told you guys always they have A, B, C, D movements. And they have different dials, A, B, C, D. And then you have, I already said it. Exactly. Look, he wrote it down. I didn't say it. He wrote it down. He's not scared. He wrote it down. I said the SV and the Schling. I said the Schling factory. Schling. Papi, these people, I honestly believe that these people have put a dent, into, to the people from over there, and these people. Papi, you get a 3235 with a 70-hour power reserve. Eso es la tranca, eso es la tranca. They're making, let me tell you, the way they're making these movements over there, they're not playing around. Listen, these people have the best CNC machines. I showed you about CNC machines in chapter, somebody help me, in chapter 17. CNC machines can do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. That company at one moment, it did Doc Maker, Florida, at one moment. I think it's called the Boone, right? The Boone, right? See what he wrote down. But that factory that he just put down, they were number one like around, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. That's what I heard. But these two monsters now are the ones that took it to a different level. Listen, when you put on a movement a 70-hour power reserve, you took it to another level. You took it to another level. I mean, there's other people, there's other, other movements that have 120, 120, you know what I'm trying to say, So listen to me very, very careful when you're buying watches out there. Be very, very careful. And it doesn't matter if you trust 100% your watch dealer. He's even going to get taken himself. So I forgot to tell you this part. So now the lady, Mary says, well, we'll call back the dealer. No. Rolex says, well, you got to call back the person that sold you the watch. We cannot let go of this watch. But what do you mean? No. We can give back to you whatever's authentic on the watch. We put it in an envelope. We send it to you. Now you must call. So you understand me? You must call Thurston. You got to call Thurston and talk to Thurston this regarding this subject. So now Mary, she calls. Let's change the name. Kino. She calls Kino. Mary calls Kino. Says, hey, Kino, how are you? Oh my God, Mary, how are you? Yes, I remember you. I was the one that sold you the Pepsi. Yes, you sold me the Pepsi. And she says, oh my God, Kino, I got a big problem. What happened, Mary? I sent the watch for service to the Rolex, over there to do a whole tune-up. And when they got the watch, they said that the watch, it has parts. There are authentic Rolex parts. No sean huevones, sean inteligente, be smart. It has parts that are for real, and it has parts that are not for real. And what does that mean? They said that's what they said. And then finally, they find out the truth. Or already, the dial, the bezel, lottie, and the rest is fake. Now this guy, this Palomo, the dealer, he turns around and he's gonna call who? The scammer. And when he calls a scammer, he doesn't exist no more, man. He doesn't exist. It's like a fart in the wind. Es como un peo en el aire. You understand me? It's like a fart in the wind. And now he comes back to Mary. I called the guy that I bought the watch. I can't get him nowhere. I called the watch show. I called here, Las Vegas, Miami, Orlando, New York. Nobody knows nothing. But you don't remember him? No, he's gone. Okay? So that's what's going on. And you guys got to be very, very, very careful right now. La situación está peligrosa. The situation is not good out there. Guys, I have so much that I want to tell you, and I want to give you a watch market update. I'm going to give it to you so you guys can continue skip hopping around through life and believing all these window Lakers. These guys have become window Lakers already. The dealers have become window Lakers. When you have this guy, Deputy Boxing Black Eyes, making interview to independent watchmakers, you should know in your head, these guys are fraud. They made that little video that they sold a $18 million 1518 Patek Philippe, They made the whole sketch flying around. Come on, no comas mierda. No comas mierda, no comas mierda. No comas mierda ustedes. Here's a watch market for you guys. Patek Philippe Complication Stainless Steel Green Dial 5905. Beautiful watch, Unbelievable time machine. Unbelievable time machine. Retail price of this watch is $78,386. It's so beautiful, fully stainless steel. Tremendo reloj, Tremendo reloj. Don't pay for that watch. You heard the retail, $78,386. Don't pay for that watch more than $43,500, all right? You do whatever you want. $43,500. Don't pay more than that. If you pay more than that, you're a lollipop sucker, all right? Our next watch is a Patek Philippe Aquanaut. White gold, 42.2 millimeter casing, 5168. Blue dial, blue strap. Retail price is $63,306. Okay? Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Pásense en esto por las nargas. El precio que ellos le den a ustedes, the price that these dealers put out there for you guys, you know, pass it through your anus. You know, it doesn't mean nothing. Doesn't mean nothing. The watch market is dead. They're looking for un palomo. You know what a palomo is? They're looking for a lollipop sucker. They're looking for a crumb bum, a sandbag. You know? That's what they're looking for. Somebody that gets caught, you know? Every once in a while, a fisherman goes out there and the fish by itself gets caught on the hook. And that's what happens to you people out there. That's what Paco Gambino told me once, and I'm going to tell you too. All right? Every once in a while, you know, the fisherman gets lucky and a fish by himself takes the hook and puts it himself. You know? You don't know about that. You don't know about that. Unbelievable, these people. Ladies and gentlemen, you understand? Thank you, Mr. Dola. You know what I'm trying to say. Don't pay for that watch more, that 5168. Don't pay more than $80,500. You do whatever you want. Our next watch is a Rolex white gold Daytona with a mother of pearl Tahiti. You know, Tahitian mother of pearl dial, you know, an unbelievable diamond bezel all around it. It's incredible. Reference number 1265, 79 RBR. Don't pay for that watch no matter what they tell you, you know. They try to put this watch up there in the $300,000 price, you know, in the $200,000 price, in the $150 price. It didn't work. It went down, 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 down. And I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that watch more than $79,000. You do whatever you want. Next watch is a Rolex, rose gold, oyster flex, meteorite dial, 40 millimeter. Reference number 116515, 40 millimeter. Beautiful, beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're buying these watches, these meteorite dial watches, if it doesn't have a white tag, a white hanging tag, I don't mean a green hologram tag, hanging tag. I mean a white one that has a serial number there on that tag, and it has a serial number on the watch, that watch was born with that dial. If it doesn't have it, don't buy it. Don't buy it, okay? Don't buy it. You tell them all that Sweet Kick Kino told you not to buy it. Don't pay for that watch, and I mean don't pay for that watch more than $78,000, all right? Don't pay more than $78,000. I'm going to give you two more watches, and we're done. The next watch is a Vacheron Constantin Overseas 7900V black dial, 41 millimeter. This watch has a 60-hour power reserve. 60-hour power reserve. Remember, I was talking to you about the 32, 35 from Qingjing, has a 70. Has a 70. This is a Vacheron Constantin Real McCoy, has 60 hours. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you do. No, you need to get it. You need to get it. You listen to me, guys. When you buy a watch from your AD, I said, no. You tell them simple like this. I don't want to hear that you don't want to give me the white hanging tag. What's happening out there with these hanging tags, you know, the ones that you don't give me, somehow they end up with one of those Muppet boiler room secondary grade watch market dealers. Do you understand what I just finished saying? You say that. Somehow it ends up there. And then my dial, my dial is not the real one. Their dial is the real one. You know, I'm telling you what's going on. I'm telling you what it is. Don't pay, ladies and gentlemen, for the Vacheron Constantin Overseas 7900V black dial, 41 millimeters, 60-hour power reserve. Don't pay more than $21,500. That's a black dial. Ladies and gentlemen, here's another one. This is my last watch market update. My last one, a Vacheron Constantin Overseas 7900V silver dial. Silver dial. Listen to this one, Mr. Blair. Black dial, this is the silver one. Silver dial, 41 millimeter, 60-hour power reserve. Don't pay for that silver dial. Don't pay more than $18,000 in dropping. All right, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you for being here today in this Watch Market Update live stream with me. I want to thank all of you for being here. Like I tell you, this channel is blowing up and it will continue blowing up because we're just saying the truth, we're saying the truth here. So, thank you again for joining me live on this live stream. It means a whole lot to me. It really does. I hope you guys learned something today. Put it away in your arsenal so you know what's going on. You're gonna hear it now. You're gonna hear it in a better language. You hear it here wrinkle, and over there you're gonna hear it press. I like it wrinkle. I like it wrinkle. You know how it is, and that's it. An old violin, none of that stuff. But I tell you what it is. Again, thank you very much for being here. I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'm gonna, take something to relax a little bit. All right, guys? Thank you very much again. Like we say, always being Sweet Kid Kino, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, because when you give us a thumbs up, the channel keeps on opening up, It keeps on opening up, right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mike. Thank you. Yes, sir. Anyway, guys, like me and Kino say always, take care and brush your hair.